Minecraft Skyblock contains 81 dirt and grass blocks, 1 tree, and 1 chest that holds a block of ice and a lava bucket. But what if I traded it all for 1 Pokemon? Can I get to the end and defeat the Ender Dragon? To make this challenge possible, I allow the nearest stronghold to spawn, but before I'm allowed to enter the end portal, I've decided to make this challenge a little more interesting. See, I need to make a full team of Pokemon that I've predetermined, which will be my starter, a flying Pokemon, my favorite Pokemon, a pseudo-legendary, a Pikachu, and a shiny Pokemon. But before I even begin to think about those, I need to decide on my starter. For this to be possible, I'm spawning in a forest biome, and since most forest Pokemon are weak to fire, that's the type I'm going with. So that removes 2/3 of the choices. Then I need a Pokemon that learns the move Ember at level 5 or below, which removes Cyndaquil, Chimchar, Tepig, and Scorbunny. Now it would make sense to choose Charmander because Charizard is the only one that can fly. However, Charmander's hidden ability Solar Power damages him when it's sunny. And since health on my starter is the most important thing, I can rule him out. So now what do I do with these 4? Torchic, Fennekin, Litten, and Fuecoco. I can rule out Fuecoco because he has an abysmal speed stat, and I can rule out Litten because he doesn't learn another fire move until level 21, which finally leaves me with 2 viable options, Fennekin and Torchic, and they both have their pros and cons. Torchic has great special attack stats and learns another fire move at level 9, however is somewhat slow, so runs the risk of bad Pokemon hitting him first and gradually killing him. And Fennekin has great speed and special attack stats, but his first fire move is at level 14, so he runs the risk of running out of PP on his moves before he even gets there. Now it's 50-50, but ultimately the thing that pushed me toward Fennekin was his hidden ability Magician, which will steal a wild Pokemon's held item if they spawn with it. And if that item happens to be XP related, then it'll make this challenge incredibly easier. Now that we've decided on Fennekin, let's get started on building our platform and collecting items. So my idea of how to do this is to use a built-in external move that all Pokemon have called Forage. When you use Forage, it will pop out a random item that's relevant to the biome that you're in, and there's a small chance that I can get a grass or dirt block. The painful part is that there's a 25-second cooldown every single time. However, since the Pixelmon mod wasn't meant to be played on 1 grass block, whenever I try Forage, the item will pop out at the bottom of the block, and there was no way I could pick it up. When I realized this, I was ready to admit that this was actually impossible. Until I had a thought. What if when I foraged, I jump off the block, catch the grass, and then quickly look up and place it before I fall into the void? So I tried this method a bunch with no luck, until I did it and it started a battle against a Caterpie. Now I did expect this to happen, and there's another reason I chose a fire starter, because I can one-shot most of these guys. But since I'm already falling into the void, when the battle is over, I lose all the drops, so this is basically had to do that one more time, and I had a little platform to farm items without them falling into the void. Anyway, now that I could catch the items, it was in Lady Luck's hand to give me grass blocks, but she wasn't exactly answering. I tested this in a world just before, and I got like 2 out of 10 grass blocks. I've done it like 30-40 times already, and I haven't got 1. Fucking cat! Please give me some grass and dirt. You did it once earlier, but I couldn't reach it. Please. Oh. Now, I was hoping to have a bigger platform for this, but oh well. When I'm not on the grass block, other Pokemon can spawn. And there are some Pokemon that spawn in forest biomes that drop some type of tree leaves. For example, the Pixelmon wiki says this Cherubi has a 50% chance to drop birch leaves. And when I place and break those leaves, I can get a sapling. But I had no luck this time around. But there are also Pokemon that will give me nothing, so it's not even worth risking my Fennekin's HP on them. However, I was getting very low on my move PP and health, so I needed leaf drops urgently. I've only got 4 Ember moves left, so I used Protect. Oh. And things were just getting worse because I wasn't even getting any drops or Pokemon that can help me. Oh. What the... What the hell? That's a shiny. What? What are the odds of that? Shiny Cherubi. They actually drop leaves, but it just feels wrong killing a shiny. I'm in desperate need to get a set of leaves from this Cherubi and then a sapling from that set of leaves. At this point, everything was against me, but I had one more chance to get a leaf drop. Never mind. Let's move on to attempt 2. All right, since I ran into the issue of running out of move PP on my Fennekin, I'm trying Torchic. And this time I started with the Caterpie strategy, but then I accidentally placed a cobweb on my grass block, which made me think, can I forage the cobweb? And it turned out I could, and the items wouldn't fall into the void. With this strategy, I was able to start farming Pokemon at a lower level and get my first drop of leaves, which unfortunately didn't drop a sapling. Nick it! The fuck? You just called me? So after getting no other leaves drops, I decided to double check that there isn't a better way to do this.
Any wood planks, basically. So yeah.
Oh my god. It's been a while since I've played the Pixelmon mod, but they've changed the apricorns, it seems. So I think if I plant it, wait for it to grow, I can harvest the wood from the apricorn tree and make it wood planks. With my newfound knowledge, I had my first tree and I got the leaves to expand my platform. I then instantly lost my first log, but collected the other two to make into planks and finally a crafting table. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. I'm so happy right now. This whole time, oh my god, this whole time I could have been using bloody apricorn. And after waiting through the night, I had metapods on my platform. And metapods and cocoonas are the reason I chose a forest biome start. That's because these guys don't have any attacking moves, so I can use them to level up freely. Another side benefit was that they drop string when killed, and this string can be used to make wool, and then finally a bed. And this bed is the key to everything, because when you sleep at night, your Pokemon's health and move PP will be restored. For the next little while, I grinded levels on Torchic, and he eventually evolved into Combuskin. Now my next concern was a renewable supply of apricorns, and it turns out all the Squovits that spawn on my island drop them, so that issue was quickly solved. And with my renewable blocks, the next step was to find a plains biome. So I started venturing out, chopping down trees, and venturing even more, and luckily I found one pretty close to the base. I made a platform for the Pokemon to spawn, but realized they don't spawn on wood, so I needed to forage for dirt again. Side note, I also went on a sea wattle killing spree and got oak leaves, which dropped me an oak sapling, which was handy. But without dirt, I couldn't do anything, so I started foraging and actually got one fairly quickly, and then again shortly after. Alright, now this is where the chain reaction starts. Oink alone spawns in plains biomes, and he drops mud when killed. Mud is a spawnable block, so I can expand my platform, and with a larger spawning area, Voltobs will spawn. And when killed, they drop parts of Pokeballs, and most importantly, a 10% chance to drop a completed one. Then with that Pokeball, I can capture a flying Pokemon, and flying unlocks everything on this challenge. Anyway, I chopped down trees, expanded the platform, and got my first Voltobs spawn and Pokeball parts. While I was waiting for the Voltobs to spawn, I decided to try level up Combuskin, but this Farfetch wasn't having any of it. So because I couldn't sleep to heal my Combuskin, I spent the rest of the day failing to trap the Voltorbs so they wouldn't fall off the edge, until something unexpected happened. Go in! No! Oh my god, this is the most fucking annoying Voltorb ever. Oh, it's a shiny. What is going on? This was my chance to capture a shiny, so I went to sleep and started murdering Voltorbs. And Pokeball. No. And Pokeball. No. No. Oh. No. After killing all those Voltorbs, I couldn't find the shiny, so it must have fallen off. And since Voltorbs only spawn in the day, I went to bed and started killing more because I still really needed Pokeballs. Yes. Pokeball. Oh, back to back. Now that I had the Pokeballs, I couldn't make a decision on what I need to catch, so I went to bed, assaulted the nearest Elder, and I think my brain fully turned off from playing so long because I didn't even try to catch a flying Pokemon and instead tried a Quaxly and a Psyduck, which both broke out of the ball with ease. So I was back at square one trying to get Pokeballs from Voltorbs, and while I was at it, my Combuskin evolved into a Blaziken. But after no luck, I decided this method was too unreliable and I had one other option, which was to find a hills biome. How is this all forest biome? Because according to the Pixelmon forage wiki, it's the only biome that you can forage stone in. And obviously from stone, you can make a button and then a Pokeball. Once I finally found one, I set up a platform and started foraging for stone. Until I realized a lot of the Pokemon here dropped gravel, andesite, and diorite, which are all blocks Pokemon can spawn on. And for a later step, I'll be needing these. So I grinded out some Pokemon until I found out my body can still be pushed in battle and proceeded to lose everything to the void. At least before I died, I placed enough blocks for Magnemites and Klinks to start spawning, and these guys are important because they drop iron. So I killed a bunch of them until I had enough to craft a cauldron, then killed even more until I had enough for a bucket. Alright, so I've just realized I was not recording. So I'll try to explain it to you as best as I can. Essentially, I was over in my hills biome. I foraged a piece of stone. I crafted a Pokeball. I run over here, I see a boss Weedle, a rare boss Weedle. I kill it. It drops me a power belt, XP candy, cobweb string. And then as I'm leaving the battle, I see a shiny spawn right here. And I get out of battle. I'm like, oh my god, this is perfect timing because I have a Pokeball just for the shiny. And then as I get out of the battle, it falls to its death. Really sad I wasn't recording. With this Pokeball, I tried catching a Pidgey, but all my Blaziken's moves killed it instantly. And I wasn't willing to risk throwing it at a full HP Pokemon. I then killed a Voltorb and got a lucky drop before I realized this Yanma actually evolves into a flying Pokemon. So I damaged it, threw my Pokeball, and prayed. Please, please, please. Please. Yes! Yes! Now the game knew I was advancing too fast, so it sent a Spidops to push me off the edge to my death. What was a Charmander? Can't really do anything with it. Oh my god. Are you serious? A shiny Larvitar. I want that so bad. If I still had that Pokeball. So I immediately started foraging for stone to make more Pokeballs. Oh, no. Oh my goodness. Geodude, fuck. Anyway, the next step in the plan is to make an Eye of Ender. I killed the Charmander from earlier to get Blaze Powder, and I had an Ender Pearl from a Galarian Slowpoke way earlier too. So I chopped down some trees to make the platform bigger so that I didn't lose the Eye of Ender, threw it to locate the stronghold, and then lost the Eye of Ender anyway. So now all that was left was to evolve Yanma into Yanmega and find the stronghold. But when I was testing the flight mechanics, I tried pressing shift to go down when it clearly says shift to dismount and fell to my death. Luckily, with quick thinking, I threw the bucket I was holding at the last second to stay on the bridge, otherwise I likely would have lost it to the void. Now, actually, all that was left was to fly Yanmega in the direction of the stronghold, break in with my bare hands, steal a bucket of lava, and then return back to the island where I've made the world's ugliest cobblestone generator. I still, however, needed water, so I grabbed my cauldron from earlier, put it down, and AFK'd until a rainstorm came. I then sat watching as it didn't fill up a single drop by the time it ended. This meant more Clinks and Magnemites had to die so I could craft a second cauldron. I proceed to AFK for a long time for the next rainstorm. Oh my goodness, finally. Rainstorm is massive, and yet I still don't have a single drop of water in these cauldrons. So I built 2 more cauldrons and moved to the plains biome because I thought the hills biome was glitched. And after another rainstorm, I was finally given 2 glass bottles worth. So I AFK'd until another came and was given the 3rd and final bit of water that I needed to make a bucket of water. And with this water, I can complete our ugly cobblestone generator. And with all the cobblestone I harvested, I can smelt it into stone and finally craft as many Pokeballs as I can ever want. Now that we have those, we have to commence the next step, and that's to mine a ridiculous amount of blocks. Once that was done, I needed to fly around and locate a birch biome, since that's where Eevees spawned for my Umbreon. Once I found one, I took down the cords, went back to my island, and started bridging for the foreseeable future. Alright, I think we're close enough on our Z coordinates, so I'm just going to start building this way now. Oh shit, oh, I'm going the wrong way. Catching a Ghastly actually wouldn't be too bad. So now I'll be able to put Pokemon to sleep, make it easier to catch. Try to catch this Ghastly. Got it down. Oh my god, I forgot my Pokeballs. I forgot I put them back in the chest before I left. Sorry Ghastly, it's not your lucky day. I always have to occasionally like look up and just have a look just in case there's a shiny that spawned. There we go. I don't know if blocks actually matter that much in terms of... Fuck's sake. Anyway, what I was saying, I don't know if the type of block matters in terms of what spawns there. I think it might just be the biome, and the block just has to be a block that Pokemon can spawn on. So with cobblestone, even though it's not grass and it doesn't make a lot of sense, I think Eevees should be able to spawn on it. Alright. Now that I had a platform, I went back to get my Pokeballs, make it daytime, and fly back. Oh no. Oh, the Pokeball stayed alive. Oh my god. Now, this whole area should all be a birch forest. So, hopefully an Eevee can spawn. They also can only spawn during the day. So, that's why I brought this bed with me. Eevee, think a quick attack shouldn't kill it. Yes. That's good. That's good. I then started throwing Pokeballs and caught it on the first try. Alright, now that we've got Eevee, we need to evolve her into an Umbreon. And we do that by getting her to a total of 220 happiness. And then it should evolve into an Umbreon. And to increase the happiness, all I need to do is simply have Eevee out of the Pokeball. While I waited for Eevee's happiness to increase, I decided to catch this Dreadnought since there were some Pokemon I struggled to kill because my team's typing wasn't diverse enough. Alright, I've AFK'd a couple days and Eevee's finally hit 220 happiness. So now all I need to do is level up and I believe she should turn into an Umbreon. This boss Ampharos also spawned, but I'm going to leave it be because he would wipe my entire team. Alright, Eevee should level up from this fight. Yes, Umbreon, let's go. And now that I had my Umbreon, I came to a shocking realization. I only just realized that I need all 6 spots on my team to complete the challenges without having to build a PC. So I've already cooked myself and now I need to build a PC. So yeah, since I caught the Dreadnought, I now need to build a PC to swap it out for my 6 challenge Pokemon. Speaking of filling my team, the next member just spawned. That is Larvitar, because he is a pseudo legendary. After I catch Larvitar, I'll officially have my 4th permanent member, but the most difficult part is still yet to come. Oh, finally. After 4 failed catches, I finally got him. I then realized Pikachu's also spawn in birch biomes. So I found one, caught him fairly easily, leaving me needing to build the PC now. To build a PC, I needed 6 aluminum, a glass pane, a redstone lamp, and a redstone. I already had the aluminum from the Magnemites from earlier, and the glowstone from the Minoons. I got the redstone from Electrikes, and the sand for glass panes from Whoopers. I then made the PC, put the Dreadnought away, and even though he was a valiant Pokemon, he wasn't the Pokemon I needed. The next step was to go back to my plains biome and farm Abras for Ender Pearls. But Abras couldn't spawn in everyone leaves, so I had to do some quick renovations. So I continued farming arrows until this Beware somehow unwedged me from my corner and somehow fucking curveballed my body off the edge, losing my 44 Pokeballs. No, are you kidding me? Luckily, I had enough materials to scrape some more together in the case that I find a shiny, but I unfortunately had to restart collecting my ender pearls. And once I collected the 12th one, I went back to the main base and crafted the eye of enders that I'll need to enter the end portal. And now we can theoretically go to the end, but we're still missing our last Pokemon, which has to be a shiny. And I haven't seen a shiny since very on in the challenge, so hopefully this doesn't take too long. Alright, this is taking way too long, so I need a new strategy. Alright, what I'm going to do is get on Yarn Mega, fly up until the Pokemon despawn, and then drop back down and have a bunch of new Pokemon spawn. And hopefully we find a shiny. And I did this for hours. Jump up, drop down, have a look, and repeat. And I was finally rewarded. Oh my god. Alright, okay. I don't know what to do. I think a Night Slash should be okay. Oh my god. It said crit. I thought I killed it. Okay. Oh, okay. We got 17 Pokeballs to catch this. Come on, please. Yes. Yes. So now that I had a shiny, my challenge was complete and I could start kitting up for the Ender Dragon fight. Bunch of arrows, a bow, food, water, eyes of enders, armor, blocks, and a sword. And with this setup, I set out to defeat the Ender Dragon, but I still had one last thing I had to tick off my list that I didn't tell you about. See, the only viable way to get diamonds in this world is to use a silverfish spawner, which spawns Sableyes instead. And Sableyes have a 10% chance to drop diamonds. So after killing countless amounts of them, I managed to scrape up 4 diamonds to make diamond boots and get the Cover Me with Diamonds achievement. I was also able to make a full ruby armor set too. Anyway, time for the dragon. I jumped on Yarn Mega, and started taking down most of the towers. Pokemon are blocking my arrows. Stop it. Oh. There we go. All right, they're all down. Time to start putting in the work. I'm out of arrows. Oh no. Ow. Come on. No. Oh, we're gonna wait for him to perch. Ow. Oh no. MLG water bucket. Confirmed, cannot catch the Ender Dragon. And with these final few hits, I officially defeated the Ender Dragon and completed the OneBlock pixelmon challenge. And I just want to take this time to say, if you enjoyed the video, I'd love a like, sub, and comment, because this video took forever to plan, record, and edit. And any interactions are much appreciated and help massively. Anyway, I've got some more cool stuff coming soon, so make sure to not miss out. Peace.